Today is the anniversary of one of the most difficult votes I've ever had to cast as a senator, the vote to authorize TARP, the spending of money in an effort to stabilize the financial community, not only here, but around the world. Now, I'm a businessman. I came to Washington bringing a businessman's attitude towards these things, so I wanted to find out how this was going to affect business, not just around the world, but specifically in Utah. I got on the phone to a number of Utah businesses, not only banks, but the cattlemen and car dealers and people all over the state, and said, how important is this to you? They told me, what I understood also as a businessman myself, if we don't have access to credit, the whole system breaks down. If we don't have access to credit, we have to lay off our people, we have to shut our doors. It's essential that the credit system continue to function. And so on that basis, understanding how important it was to people in Utah, I voted for TARP. I'm pleased that Mitt Romney has called it the correct and courageous vote, and looking back on it, every economist I have talked to, conservative and liberal all across the spectrum, says we had to do it. Without it, it would have cost us substantially more if we had had the meltdown that it prevented. But I did what I could to make sure that we did not immediately just push $700 billion out the door. I was part of the group to cut that in half, to say, no, we're going to spend $350 billion and see how it works before we authorize the rest. And as I looked at it, I said, the crisis is past, and you're not spending this, you're not proposing to spend this other $350 billion in a way that I think makes much sense. I voted against the second $350 billion because I said, you're not spending this the same way you promised the first $350, and it's not being used to see to it that credit is available to small business. It's being used for the bailout for auto companies, which I opposed. So I voted against the second half. Now, the reality is that a free market cannot function if it does not have access to credit, and I think we did the right thing in making credit available. And we're seeing those people to whom the credit was made available start to pay it back, because this was not an expenditure in an effort to stimulate the economy the way the stimulus package was. This was a money made available to stabilize the system, and as the system has become more stable, the money has started to come back, up to $80 billion so far, with another $40 billion in the wings. The bottom line is, we did the right thing a year ago. The challenge is, can we do the right thing looking forward? Looking forward, we don't need more federal spending. We don't need more money going out of the Treasury. We need the right kind of tax and regulatory regime that will allow businesses to solve the problem themselves. That's what I learned as a businessman is the long-term way to make America strong, and that's what I still believe as a senator.